Today we're playing some Mono Red in Standard with Bloomburrow. We just had a big rotation, so now the format is pretty wide open. There are some decks that survived rotation. There are a lot of decks that didn't. Turns out Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, that whole era, was quite strong. But we are in the opening phases of a new Standard format, and so far I'm having fun brewing. I haven't gotten to play too many games yet. Today is going to be... Oh my god. Brand new tier 3! Out of his mind! I crap thunder! I crap lightning. I don't know if you know that. Thank you so much, Eddie, for the big sub. Appreciate the 3 months, homie. Eddie and I have been working together on his game. I'm his coach, and he's been doing really well, and I'm proud of him. And I look forward to coaching him for quite some time. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. We're playing Mono Red today in Standard. This is a creature-based aggressive deck with some combat tricks, some buffs, and some removal. Let's talk about the different parts of the deck and what it means for the strategy overall. First off, let's go over some of the new cards. First up is Hired Claw. For 1 red, you get a 1/2 lizard that says whenever 1 or more lizards attacks, it deals 1 damage to the opponent. So that means that if you play this on 1, you attack with it on 2, it's going to deal them a damage because it counts itself. And then it says you can spend a red and 1 to put a 1/1 counter on it and activate only if an opponent lost life this turn and only once each turn. So you can't grow it like crazy in the late game, but you can grow it once a turn. It's very difficult to block because your opponent needs a 3-power creature pretty early on that you haven't killed with shock or something similar. It's a great mana sink for things, that you have extra mana to spend on. And the fact that, it can just attack for 2 and threaten to buff means that your opponent most of the time is just not going to block it. I think it's a strong 1-drop. I haven't played any with it yet, but it looks like a strong 1-drop, and I'm excited about it. The other 1-drop creature we're playing is Monastery Swiftspear. This is tried and true. We've played this for quite some time. I think that this build actually doesn't use it as well as we could, but we do have Shock, Monstrous Rage, and Demonic Ruckus that all can buff it. And sideboard, we have a lot more things that can buff it as well. Just know that, we maybe should be playing some Lizard or something instead so that it has more synergy with Hired Claw. But I like Monstrous Swiftspear, and I think that the threat of it is often just strong enough. And with Monstrous Rage in particular, it gets very, very out of control. 4 copies of Monstrous Rage, as well as 4 copies of Demonic Ruckus. These are our buff effects for our prowess-style creatures, including Monstrous Swiftspear, but also for one that we'll talk about in just a moment. 4 copies of Shock. This is classic. We could play Torch the Tower, but it doesn't hit players. I like being able to hit players. I'm not sure if Shock is where we want to be. Torch the Tower, being able to kill 3 toughness creatures, is a huge deal, and being able to sack either Demonic Ruckus, which I believe draws us a card. Yeah, so we can, with Torch the Tower, we could sack Demonic Ruckus to draw a card, which I really like. We can also sack the roll token on a Monstrous Rage. So there is a good chance that Torch the Tower should be in place of Shock, but I like being able to go face, and I like being able to empty my hand in matchups where they don't have that many creatures. The other prowess creature, heroic-style creature in the deck is Emberheart Challenger. This is a 2-cost 2/2 haste prowess, Mouse Warrior. It says whenever it becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card. So basically, we go Monstrous Rage on this, flip over the top card, we can play it. Demonic Ruckus this, flip over the top card, we can play it. Another card that I've been considering playing, and we've actually played a little bit in Pioneer, is Flowstone Embrace? Flowstone something. Flowstone Infusion. For 1 red, target creature gets +2/-2. And what this means is that we can kill any 2 toughness creature our opponent plays. But it also means that when we get to the later turns of the game, or if our opponent doesn't have targets for removal, Flowstone Infusion can be something that we can use to buff our own creatures. And even that might be better than Shock. I don't know yet. But I do like Flowstone Infusion as an idea for stuff like Emberheart Challenger and for Monastery Swiftspear. But unfortunately, it doesn't work well with Hired Claw. Cunning Coyote. The later the game goes, the bigger we're going to get. And I'm not sure if that's right either. You know, we have some 3 drops in our deck. We have Byway Barterer. This is 3 cost, 3/3 menace. When you expend 4, you can discard your hand and draw 2 cards. Basically, this means that we're able to tap out every single turn and keep the juice flowing. I think this card's great. I don't think it works with Plot, which is super unfortunate, the way that they've coded expend to work. I just wish it said once per turn when you spend your 4th mana. But you have to spend it to cast spells. So once you play your 4th mana worth of spells is when it starts working. I think with the once a turn, this is just a little overdone or whatever. But anyway, Byway Barter I think is a really interesting creature. I'm excited to try it out. I don't know if it's the best 3 mana creature that we can play, but it certainly seems sweet, and I want to give it a try. We're playing 4 copies of Flamecash Gecko alongside Hired Claw and Monster Swiftspear. This is going to act like a Burning Tree Emissary quite often. It also has built-in mana sink with the discard ability, which I really, really appreciate. One of the biggest downsides of cards like Burning Tree Emissary is that you just can't use the mana off of it sometimes, so it just kind of floats away. But Gecko allowing you to discard an extra land, you know, maybe an extra dead card in your hand to turn it into something perhaps more useful is nice. I really like the curve of turn 1 Hired Claw, turn 2 Gecko Plot Coyote, or even Gecko Plot Ruckus, right? Plot something, cast Ruckus maybe. I just think that the ability to use this 2 mana in a bunch of different ways is really cool. And even later in the game on turn 3, 4, you can play this, get 2 mana, it's basically free, and then use that mana to play Byway Barter or Stingerback Terror. Stingerback Terror is the last card I'd like to speak on. I tried this card in Pioneer in a green-red deck, and I could plot it on 2 with an elf. And the games where I plotted on 2 with an elf were unbelievable. I was able to empty my hand very easily, very quickly. And I think this deck's able to empty its hand very easily and quickly as well, which makes the card significantly stronger than it would be in a deck that wants to draw a bunch of cards, keep cards in hand, things like that. Obviously, we don't have elves. We don't have mana acceleration of any kind, but I still think plotting on 3, casting on 4 is pretty good. I think with a couple copies of Cunning Coyote to give it haste, it's a nice little 1-2 punch. And because of the Coyote, there's a good chance we should be playing more copies of Coyote to pair with the Stingerback Terror. But I'm not even sold on these cards even being in the deck. We might want to go to like 20 or 21 lands, be really low to the ground. But I wanted to see if emptying our hand quickly with Stingerback Terror was something we could aspire to. Mana base, all mountains except for 3 Rockface Village. This is going to cast most of our cards, since it can tap for red for creature spells. And then every now and then we get to give one of our creatures haste. I think giving things like Byway Barter haste, any of our lizards haste. Most of our creatures fit the Rockface Village. It's not. We basically can't give it to the Stingerback. We can't give it to Swiftspear and Coyote. But everyone else we can give haste to. And with that said, it's possible we should be playing 4 Rockface Village. We maybe should be playing more of the lizards, mice, and otters and raccoons. But I've been very happy with the way that this deck looks as far as the main deck is concerned. Sideboard, a couple Lithomantic Barrage. I'm really not sure what we're going to be facing against, so I just kind of hit a bunch of things, 2s and 3s everywhere. 2 Lithomantic Barrage to hit blue and white creatures. 3 Tectonic Hazard to help out against, what's it called? Convoke. 4 Scorching Shot in case there's some large creature we need to kill. 2 Squee, extra 3-drop that's very good at playing long games. 2 Nahiri's, Warcrafting, big removal spell that can give us a card back. And 2 Sunspire Links to help decks that gain a bunch of life and have a bunch of non-basics. There's a good chance that Sunspine Links actually should be in the main deck over Stingerback Terror, because it allows us to just like punish our opponents with the direct damage. But I think this would be better in a more burn-heavy deck with like Lightning Strike, and not in a like more heroic style deck that we're playing. This is Mono Red Lizards, Stingerback Red. Let's play Elite. All right, opener looks okay. We have the Gecko into, or Claw into Gecko draw. We have 4 lands, which aren't the best, but we have Byway Barter to potentially give us a little bit of help. One thing we need to do on turn 2 is we need to make sure we play our land before we attack. Assuming that they play something that can block, you know. Now, this might be a good turn where we get to go attack. They don't block, and we get to go post-combat Gecko into buff this or Gecko into Emberheart Challenger, depending on what they do. Favorite Bloomburrow creature type for strength has to be lizards. I really like Flamecatch Gecko. Favorite for cuteness, Tom, probably gonna have to go with bunnies or rabbits. I'm a big fan of Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, or most of you know it as just the Secret of Nim from the old movie. I play Blooming Marsh, Deep Cavern Bats. All right, let's see what they take. They can't block the Hired Claws, so no matter what they take, we should have a good turn next turn. And if they take Gecko, we'll just play Challenger and attack. If they take Barter, we'll attack, then play Gecko Emberheart. But Otters? I don't hate the Otters. But I'm not really a water guy. You know, I don't think seals are cute. Oh, they took Emberheart Challenger. Interesting. So now we'll just go attack, and then we'll Gecko buff the Claw instead of loot. Otter's your favorite animal IRL. Nice. Now you're going to get to see the Claw in action, I think, chat. And I think buffing is better than looting. We can always loot later. Obviously, they can kill the Gecko, but we have the Byway Barterer. But I like Gecko into buff over Gecko into loot. Just want to get this big enough where it can just attack. There is, I think, there is some argument to just discarding a land here to dig for interaction. But I want to just make it very difficult for my opponent to block, and I want to make it so that I don't have to use mana in combat if I don't need to. You thought I was a water fire main? I'm more ice than fire, Scooter. Now penguins are cute as shit. And I know they get in the water, but they're not really always in the water. They're in the water a bunch. Magic have penguins? I don't know. We used to have a penguin token at Star City. Bronco, time to go bucking. So they might have cut down. Luckily, we can just attack with no, like, issue. So if I ruckus on this and they have cut down for it, I'm in trouble. I think I just attack and then play the Barterer. I think they'll probably block with the Barterer. Also, I guess if they had cut down, they would have killed this before I got to untap. But I think just playing the Barterer is just better, just more pressure. There's only one card that mentions Penguin. A travesty. Tom's got the Penguin tokens. Nice. And the sleeves. Double nice. Heard the song too much lately. Algorithm's killing me. Yes, Mutavault is a penguin. Chameleon Colossus is a penguin. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I think at some point they just decided that penguins were what they were going to do with that whole era. All right, so no play so far on turn 4. Mosswood Dread Knight. All right, so if I put Ruckus on this and attack with everybody, their blocks are really bad. But I don't get to do the Byway Barter thing. But I have the Gecko still, and I have this still. I guess I don't have to ruckus, and we can just threaten to buff this twice or loot twice. Let's see what happens if I attack with everybody. I guess they're planning on double blocking with this. And so maybe they're planning on this plus this on something, and I can only kill one. I can only kill the mosswood or this. Okay, I think I'm going to play my land. And I think I'm going to just attack with everybody. I think because they held so much stuff back, Ruckus doesn't feel that good. Gecko trades with everything. Claw can buff. And this has Menace. So any double block on this is going to kill maybe just the one creature. I guess we can technically loot. If they double block here, I think I'll probably just kill Bronco. Kill them a bunch with these two. Maybe loot some with this. Oh, this has Menace, so we can't block there like that. See how many times they tried to declare an illegal block. 1, 2, 3, 2. Alright, so double block here. Okay, so I think I'm gonna loot in case I draw a shock or buff spell or something. I can just really mess them up. Alright, Coyote's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna let this happen. We're gonna kill Bronco. They're gonna take this much. And then I will... I kinda just want to buff this while I can. I should have done it before damage, I guess. We'll just plot. We'll just plot. They're down to 9. They got a lot of pressure coming at them. Literally just heard this in the car, chat. I'm sorry. Liliana the Veil. So they're probably gonna eat the gecko. Or I guess they edict me. I think I'm gonna let the gecko die because we just have enough to do with our mana now, and we have enough mana to use it all. Alright, so this is gonna attack, so now this is gonna have Menace, probably. Hopefully we draw something that the coyote can give haste to. Nice. So we'll go Gecko, we don't get the mana. Coyote on the Gecko. And now what do we not want them to block? I guess we want to put it on the Claw. And now if they block the Coyote or the Gecko, I'm fine with all that. And I don't think that we bother killing the Lily because they're so low on life. Just go face. They take one from the Claw. Next turn, when we attack again, they'll take one, and we have a bunch of buffs. It also gets Trample and Menace, so it's very difficult for them to trade with in combat. And if they kill it, we get to draw a card. They're going to take 5 down to 4. They can gain 1, but if they plus, they're going to have to discard a card from hand. Mosswood's going to be kind of stuck in limbo unless they want to spend most of their turn drawing a card. Zari the Sky, I'm glad to hear that. I had a lot of fun playing and casting that tour for a long time. Shoulder of the Apocalypse. Okay. Well, we're basically going to trade Hired Claw for both creatures next turn because we can just buff this like crazy. I guess we can actually attack with both, and then they're still forced to double block this. Oh, they're dead now because they attacked because this has Menace. Our opponent, I don't know if they're new or if they're just playing poorly, but could be both. Alright, we'll just send both a face. There's no free spells, so Hard Claw with Menace with its buffs is going to kill them. Thank you so much. All right, game number 2. We want some Scorching Shots to kill Shield Red. I'll take some Heroes Warcraftings. We'll be able to empty our hand pretty easily for Stinger back. Shock is okay. They have bats and such. Monstrous Rage, okay. They have plenty of blockers. The Monarch Ruckus actually feels a little bit of like a scam. And I think when we're bringing in Scorching Shot, we need to cut some buff effects. But I think Monstrous Rage is just too strong to cut. Yeah, the Lynx could be good as well. No life gain and deal them a bunch of damage when it comes in. I think Stingerback Terror is probably weak in the matchup. So I think we'll probably do this. Ruckus and Stingerback out for Scorching Shot, Warcrafting, and Sunspire. Try to play a longer game, but Stingerback just being a big threat maybe means that it's probably not supposed to be in the deck, if I'm being honest. But I want to give it a try. I think against 2-mana black removal, it's bad, but it's really good against red removal. Can't wait for Bloomburrow on ice. That's in a couple years they're going to return to Bloomburrow, but it's going to be frozen over. They'll call it the Mice Capades. See how quickly I came up with that, chat? Yeah, but you laughed, Tom. You know you laughed. Got him. Got him, chat. Nailed him to a wall. All right. Opener looks pretty good. We got another claw opener. I think turn 1 claw is going to be just extremely good. And I think it's going to mean that we can actually just play more lands than you would normally think because we just will always have a good mana sink on 2. But this hand is excellent. You know, we need the 3rd land for the bystander. I like that we have multiple ways to kill a bat. And I like that I have a creature that can just charge through a bat. Emberheart Challenger, a really good top deck. Really good top deck, as long as they don't have bat. If they have anything but bat, I'll be happy. All right, I'm going to just play Challenger. They are probably going to kill it, but I think not playing anything is wrong. And I think playing it post-combat's wrong. So they're probably going to have cut down or some sort of go for the throat style thing. I don't know which one's the dominant one or the more viable one, but my guess is they'll kill the Challenger, but maybe they're killing both. If we draw a land, we can Challenger plus protect it from cut down and maybe get an extra card out of it at some point. Them not killing this one's kind of wild. Okay, they had it anyway. Until end of your turn, you may play that card. Okay, so we can't do EOT Emberheart buffs. All right, we'll go barter. Just use our mana efficiently here. We should be able to get this off soon. I like that this is a May, but it looks like they're just going to kill everything, so it doesn't matter. Did it draw a 3rd land? All right, let's see if they go for cut down, or what is it? Another go for the throat. So we can just like shock this and hope that we draw a 1-drop creature, but I think that it's just better to just let it die. All right, so 4 spot removal spells that cost 2 or less on the top 10 cards. Not a lot we can do about it. There's a Sunslayer. We'll use Scorching Shot on that because we can't afford to just let them draw a bunch of cards. That means the top deck Shoulder, it could be bad for us. All right, we'll just kill it. I still think it's better to do that than play the cat. They just get to draw cards when they attack and they're at 20, so I think just making sure that doesn't happen. I'd actually rather them have Shouldered right now than this thing, especially with the Lynx keeping them their life gain in check. Unfortunately, they drew a couple basics this game, so the Lynx isn't as effective as it could be, but it's still pretty good. Alright, Frillback's going to gain some life. That's way better than a Shield Red. I don't really care. So I think they messed this up. They're at 24. Opponent's getting the Magic Online runaround. Alright, we'll play the Sunspine Lynx. And they'll take 2 damage. And then they can't gain life anymore, and damage can't be prevented. They have 2 cards in hand. I'm hoping that they don't have another removal spell. They've already played 4. The Gecko could help us out in a few turns with letting us use our mana. Liliana, annoying. We can just shock it down, though, so we won't have to worry about the discard effects. Maybe we let them discard once. Alright, I'm going to attack face. And then we'll go Gecko, and then I'll use Shock on the Lily, I think. And now next turn I can maybe start with Monstrous Rage on this to get a card off the top of my deck. And we did lose the ability to Rock Face, give this haste, but I think it's okay. And now if every land we draw, we can loot it away. They can just smash us for 7 here, which would be pretty scary, but I'm hoping Monstrous Rage plus some stuff puts them in a bad spot. Well, choking Miasma, so they get to kill all of our stuff, put a counter on their creature. That's brutal. Other lands. I'm going to play it out, but I don't think I can win the game anymore. Now they're going to fire this up, hit me for 8 down to 6. They had a really good draw. We need to reevaluate after sideboard, I think. Does this thing have Death Touch too? Just a 4/4. Tax makes a food. Maybe the Monstrous Rages can't survive. Maybe we just need all of our creatures. The Shocks can maybe go. They probably don't have Bronco in their deck anymore after sideboard. So we just maybe want to have bigger cards. Maybe we can trim... Maybe we trim Monstrous Rage? Just be all creatures because they just have all removal. Our Prowl stuff's a lot worse when we do this, though. So I'm hoping that we just play like an early Swiftspear and they just kill it. All right, so no 1-drop, double geckos that don't do anything. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. I don't think it's that bad though. We'll keep this hand. I think it's only slightly worse. I'm gonna keep the lands, put back one of the 2 barterers. No 1-drop's definitely a bummer. Still high on Emberheart? Yeah. I think we need more things that can target it, but the card is certainly powerful, but I don't know if it's good. Alright, I'm going to play the Gecko, but I'm not in love with playing this here because they just probably have cut down, but I mean, I got to play something. Already mulligan looking for a better, more aggressive hand on the play. They didn't have their removal stuff for it. That's good, I guess. Alright, so we'll attack with the Gecko. Then we'll post-combat play the Barter. Then the turn after, we'll probably be able to get it off. And our hand is going to be rather low at that point, so it might be worth. This also dodges that 3-mana sweeper, which is nice, the Miasma. And I don't think there's a 1-mana card that kills this. Juko plus Emberheart, does that work? It's only once a turn, but it is spell or effect, which is weird. So they have to be careful on that. Alright, so I'm going to attack with both and see what they do. And then we'll probably just say go, and then we'll EOT loot some. We can't use the byway this turn. Alright, so this is down. I guess he'll just say go. Maybe we pitch one Scorching Shot, just since we have stuff to do. Looking for any creature here. If we draw a land, we'll just loot that away. I don't want to play this into a Miasma, so I'll just say go. Maybe having Warcrafting and Scorching Shot just too many. Maybe we just want one or the other. Remember, the Challenger is much weaker after sideboard because we just have so few things. Just a 2/2 haste, basically. Mosswood. Okay. And Bronco. Okay. I think I am going to pitch the Challenger. Squeeze okay. I'm going to start by killing the Bronco. And then we get to look at the top 3, and if we find a land, we can play, right? Alright, and then we'll just Scorching Shot this thing, and if they want to just spend their turns taking damage and casting it, we'll just start getting Squee down and start using Squee to pressure them. At this point, we've used our removal spells, though, so Shieldred might be a problem. So maybe that was a mistake. They could hit me with a Cottage for 4. I think that's fine. Whispers plus Cast, it's fine. The Gecko's been rather impressive so far. I really don't know how to be sideboarding in this matchup. I don't think it's a good matchup. I think that the Golgari decks kind of prey on aggro decks in general. I will play Squee with the intent to loot with this. And then we'll save the links for when it deals them like 10 damage. We'll definitely send with the Squee, and I'm curious if they block. Maybe I shouldn't attack with the Gecko. I do kind of want to discard the Squee. I guess because I have the token coming as well. Okay, so they're going to kill this. That's fine. I will just say go. If they spend the turn just animating their Cottage to eat the Squee and attacking, I think I'm okay with that. Take 7, and then we can discard the Squee and then get it back from the graveyard next turn, which I really like. They left open green. They might have some sort of protection spell, so I need to keep that in mind. Alright, so they will get a food token here. I believe they've already played a land. Yeah, they have 6 lands. Yeah, Planeswalkers, Urbrass Forge could be okay. Although, I'm not sure what Golgari has. Golgari is usually adept at killing artifacts and enchantments. Alright, we're definitely attacking with the squee, but I think we attack with both. Because if they block squee, they're going to have to spend a whole turn doing cottage, which means the mosswood's probably going to die. We get in some extra damage this way. I don't think I want to play the land because I don't want to discard the barter or the sphinx, or the lynx rather. So they do block the token. Good. I think I'll go ahead and play the land. That way I can, if I draw a land, I can barter plus sphinx and then draw 2. I will definitely play the lynx next turn. Okay, so we just lost 2 things. We didn't even lose that much. And if I draw a land, I'm going to go wild, right? I go barter into lynx. And I don't really want to discard the lynx, so if I don't draw the land, I'll probably just play the lynx. Okay. Alright, so we go with barter first, and then lynx, and then we'll get to draw 2. And this is kind of how I envision the barter always working. Just later in the game, you cast it and another thing, and then you draw. Okay, terror. And now they take 4 down to 8. And they can't gain life without killing this. We're at 12. If they hit us for 8, then we're fine. We'll just swing back and kill them. We can give haste to a number of things off the top of the deck. Can even cast Terror plus any other spell next turn, even another Terror. Lily minus will probably discard. Huh. I think I discard the lynx, or sack the lynx. It already dealt them 4 damage, and I think that this just has a chance to do more stuff. They could be killing both, so it might not matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. And if they make me discard, great, but they'll definitely make me sack this. They're at 7, they're going to hit us for 4 down to 8, and they're threatening lethal. But we have Stingerback Terror, which is a one-shot lethal against them. And if I draw the Coyote, they just die on the spot, which is sicko. And it's maybe another reason I should just be playing more Coyotes. Alright, so we're going to play Stingerback Terror and Squee from the grave. We didn't have lethal, but we had close to lethal. I think I'll send 1 at the Lily and 2 at face. And now we have a big 6/6 blocker. So the only way we die is if they have Go for the Throat, land, activate Cottage. And I think it's worth being dead to that to send. And now they're dead on board to this. Yeah, there's a world where it's not in the deck. There's plenty of little things that we can change. This is just something I put together last night. I have no idea if it's any good. Alright, so they're going to activate Cottage. Does this have Death Touch? I don't even want to block. Alright, let me just read every part of this card. Interstap, black and green. 4/4 black and green horror until in turn. It's still land. When attacks, make a food. Alright, I'm going to block. Okay, well. This is a weird one, but I think I'm going to keep. I'm on the draw. This is a stress test keep. Can my deck keep one-landers on the draw? Okay, cheeky house mouse. 2-1. Jaeger, you're ruining my life right now, buddy. Bonus said, got any cheese? They're trying to squeak by me. It's not gonna work, chat. They're trying to squeak by me. I might block. I drew the land, obviously. Can't lose. Manifold mouse. Okay, so they can give this double strike. So I guess we're taking 4. Good lord. This card might be pretty scary. Alright, so we'll go land. I'm going to attack with the claw, and then they won't be able to block. And we'll just eat it. I think we'll go Gecko into buff again. I liked doing that last game. Or last match. I really like the sequence. I think that this is a really interesting sequence. They can't really block this that well. Most decks won't be able to block this that well on turn 2. And being something to dump this mana into immediately is really nice. Because the colorless mana is hard to use. We could have waited for turn 3. Could have maybe gone Claw Swiftspear. Maybe we could have even gone Swiftspear attack with both. See if they block, we Monstrous Rage. If not, second main Hired Claw. This is a bounce block anyway, off of 1-2, 1-2. So maybe that was the move. And then we can save Gecko for like the byway barter turns. Come on now. Come on now, buddy. Alright, so here's a 2-2 prowess haste. We're gonna try to trade with anything they let us trade with the Gecko. We're gonna take 4 damage here though. Hopefully our shocks are good. Oh yeah, we'll definitely trade for the cheeky house mouse. Buddy, I'm telling you, I can't do this right now. I can't. Can't do it. This is scary. Double strike plus prowess. Oh, Stu. Oh, Stu. Lost Jitty. Can we turn the corner on him? I think we just play barter and say go. I'm going to try to use this defensively as a 2-3. I want to keep them off of Jitte. Although it has double strike, so I guess we don't get to keep them off of Jitte because they get to buff it. But maybe we can double block. But I think then we just get screwed by Prowston. I think that the Jitte might just kill us with double strike. In terms of not being able to kill it with red cards. Alright, so they found another Embarrassed Challenger. Let's see if they cast that. Jaeger's just trying to hunt the mice. If he knew how many mice were on screen right now, he would scream. Alright, what do you want? He makes it so I can't use my keyboard. And I like pressing F6. Alright, so they didn't play the Ember Heart Challenger. Alright, so if they attack with this, I'm going to double block and just see what happens. If I let it stick, I'm just going to die. So I'm just going to double block. And I don't think that I can possibly win. Okay, so if double strike damage happened, which means they did not have a prowess spell to buff. And they can plus to buff their thing, but it doesn't do anything. They can untap a land. Yeah, it has double strike, so I guess we're just having to deal with double strike Jitte now forever. Jaeger! Dude. All right, well, we did successfully block a double strike Kraus creature. Whenever this creature becomes a target, mice you control get buffed. Oh, great. Chat, I don't think I can beat Lost Jitte plus all this stuff. I will plot the Demonic Ruckus and we'll say go and hold up Monstrous Rage. I don't know. I think that this board is literally just too complicated for me to win. But I'm going to try to maybe do some Monstrous Rage triple blocks, double blocks. But Jitte plus double strike is just extremely bad for combat. And I just have to be able to kill this or kill the Manifold Mouse. Manifold Mouse. And ban Jitte, they said? Yeah. Do I think they should remake Umezawa's Jitte and put it into standard? No. Do I think it's too good for modern? No. Multiply the complication with Jaeger trying to catch the mice. That's true. They're right there, Jaeger. Go get them. Go get them. Jaeger! He has no clue what's going on. Jitte with Nadu? Yeah. Both of my opponents have also just been playing extremely slow, which leads me to believe that it's just like new players that are new to Magic Online playing, which is tough. It's a nice looking cat. Thank you. He's a good boy. Alright, so they got Battlefield Forge. This thing's got Double Strike. I'm going to block this because it's just a massive amount of double strike damage. I'm going to double block this thing, see what happens. They're going to put a couple counters on the creature. Alright, so right now it's surviving, so we do have to play Monstrous Rage. And I think we just play it on the Swiss Spear. Although I guess we can pump something else. And then the Swiss Spear will just survive anyway. This is a bad trade. Whatever. I don't think this is going to work. I think this is only 4 toughness now. This will survive, though. This should die. Basically empty-handed versus a bunch of dicks, little dickheads. I'm going to board in a bunch of removal, though. And then just kill all their mice. And we should be fine. But Jitte plus Double Strike is just not something that I can beat in combat. And I didn't draw shock, so I died. And they got Offsprings. Cheeky Mouse. I wonder if I should board in the deal 1 to everything. I am getting whipped by this mouse deck, though, chat. It's pretty fun. Getting beat up by a little mice when there's a cat in my face. Alright. So I think the so Demonic Ruckus has looked pretty weak in general. But I haven't had a hand where I had Demonic Ruckus and no 1-drop. And I think Demonic Ruckus with no 1-drop is the hands where it's going to look really good. I'm going to leave the Stingerbacks. I'm going to leave the Coyote. Or actually, the Coyotes can come out. I think Coyote with Stingerback is good, but I think you want that against like slower mid-rangey or control decks, and you don't really need that against aggro. We want Scorching Shot, Warcrafting. And I'm going to think about Tectonic Hazard, but I don't know if I'm going to bring it in or not. My gut says that I should not. Lithomantic Barrage targets some stuff, but not any of the red ones, and the red ones are strong. I think it's just this. I think it's Warcrafting and Scorching Shot in the shocks. I'm going to keep this hand because we have Hired Claw and a couple shocks. And if we draw the land, we get to go Gecko Shock or Gecko Loot. But the turn 1 Claw with a couple of shocks makes me feel pretty good about this hand. Alright, let's say go. I don't really care about the Hardfire Hero too much. If they want to target their own hero, I can kill it in response. Love your keyboard bed? Yeah. I like sleeping in a regular bed, personally. But not Jaeger. Alright, land off the top would be nice, but we're probably just going to kill whatever 2-drop they play. I'm going to leave this alone unless they go for a buff on it. Luckily for me, this only hits opponents when it dies, so I don't have to worry too much about them, buffing it to use it to kill my creature. Raging Battle Mouse. That one I'm going to kill. I do like that Raging Battle Mouse is a mouse, and it's not from this set. I still no lands. If we draw a land, we get to go double Gecko. I'm gonna need a shirt back. Alright, so the 1/1 Offspring. Okay, this is scary-esque. So I guess I should bring in the Tectonic. I'll think about that for game 3 if we get there. I gotta play stuff that I can play with Gecko. Double Gecko animate or activate seems good. I agree, Eddie. I wish I was more standard pilled. Arena players, man, I don't want to say that they're spoiled, but they are catered to pretty aggressively. And I don't think that's true for Magic Online. Although I will say I think Daybreak's doing quite a good job of bringing it back. All right, another Battle Mouse. Okay, so nothing has first strike and nothing gets toughness buffed, and this only hits opponents. This gets power buffed. I'm going to attack with everybody and see what happens, and I'm probably not going to interact. I'm just going to let them do whatever they want to do to trade and clear the board, and then I'm going to play Byway Barter and try to use that to win the game. Because then next turn we can maybe go like Warcrafting into a 1-drop or Scorching Shot plus a 1 or a 2-drop. All right, I'm also just super fine making this trade. Saga Frenzy on that thing. Fine as well. Sure. So full clear for them, but that's fine. We still have the Byway Barter, and luckily for me, they didn't kill this at all. And they might not be able to kill it. Now, I won't say anything bad about these cards. I think that they're both pretty scary, and in tandem with some permanents that give triggers and buffs and stuff, it's like pretty gross. They might have Monstrous Rage. I'm just gonna let this go. I don't really care about taking 1 damage. I'm not really sure what it is. Might of the Meek. So +1/+0, draw a card. And trample. Okay. Nope, 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 nope. Don't sit on the keyboard, Jaeger. All right, another battle mouse. All right, they're tapped out though now. So let's go. We need 4. So let's go Warcrafting on the battle mouse. We're gonna look for land. We didn't find land. Are you kidding me, dude? All right, we'll just attack for 3. We found a land. We could have gone land Swiftspear and cycled this to draw 2. Another Hardfire Hero, that's fine. We'll take 3. And then they're just in a weird racing scenario where they're very behind. I'm just going to attack with these 2. I want to hold the Scorching Shot in case I draw another 2-drop. So we can get the byway off. I'm going to play the land, though. And I want to maybe save this for a slightly better creature. Although, this is rather scary in general. 4-mana mouse. Manifold mouse. So now they're going to give double strike to this thing. And it targets as well with the ability. So these are all kind of doing massive damage to me. This is a bummer. They're at 6. Is this going to kill me? This is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I think we are going to die to this. If they just targeted this twice, I think we would have maybe died, but I don't know. Maybe it's this once, this once. The fact that Valiant triggers on abilities is something that I'm not used to, and I just didn't even consider that this off the top would do that. I do like... This is cool. It's like a little guy just whipping ass. It says 5. They're both double strike, so it's 10 down to 2. I'm pretty sure I could have died this turn if they targeted this with one of them. Because it'll buff both and then double strike, but maybe not. I think I cut Monstrous Rages, but I think Monstrous Rage is... Alright, so we'll go Emberheart Challenger. I'm going to go Scorching Shot on this one. And then we'll do the Byway Barterer. And I need to draw like Land Shock, I think. How about double Stingerback Terror? Is that anything? Is not attacking a way to survive? I guess I can chump. Trade. Go to 1. Oh, no. It's not even that bad. Can I attack? 2 1/1s getting through? No, I can't attack. But I'm not dead, technically. If these die, I lose, but my things are small. Making a mouse deck, message received? Yeah. Got a lot of cool little things in it. I mean, we're just getting beat up bad by Manifold Mouse. Alright, pretty solid opener. Oh, is my, this thing's not working. Oh, I think it's because my browser source is for Strong Sab. Oh well. Alright, we'll play some creatures. Get some Hired Claws down. Maybe I should have played Swiftspear in case they have Shock. Luckily, they just don't have anything. Next turn we can go Swiftspear, attack, Monstrous Rage. Oh, I should probably be playing some of these. I forgot about this land. I did a search for cool red lands. 2/1 Codebreaker. I think I'll trade, honestly. I think it's kind of scary later. Urbrass Forge. We'll definitely ignore this one. I'm going to play Stingerback this turn. Or plot it, rather. But we should win this race pretty handily. Urbrass Forge is not very scary compared to my Big Dargon. We can empty our hand mostly. Feldon can't block, so now we're just in a pure racing scenario. We'll take 4. The Stingerback should be actual messed up in this matchup. Frenzy doesn't kill that very well. All right, so let's go Ruckus on this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and go Monstrous Rage on this thing too. We're gonna hold up Shock. I don't really want to shock the Feldon. Hit him for a bunch. Now they're just dead to Stingerback plus Shock. This is why I can't get Swiftspear out the deck, man. Swiftspear just always looks so good. Alright, so I think this is another matchup where like Ruckus and Coyote can come out. I'm going to leave Shock and Monstrous Rage, since Monstrous Rage can protect our creatures from small burn spells. And we'll just do what we've been doing. I think Nahir's Warcrafting is a mistake, but I do kind of like the squeeze. Because we're going to have like some attrition battles, I think. He was faster? I agree. Alright, sounds great. We're going to keep. I would love a Shock. Phoenix Chick. Not that scary. I will play Hired Claw first. I have to be careful. The Rock-Faced Villages kind of trick you into thinking that they tap for red for stuff. They only tap for red for creatures, which means that I need to use them first. I will trade again if they let me. They don't. I think that's smart on their part. I am going to attack. I think I'm going to play Challenger. Say go. I think playing and attacking is perhaps wrong. Trying to block the Codebreaker is not going to work out very well. So we won't do it. I will probably go Swiftspear or Monstrous Rage this next turn, looking for a 1-drop or a land. Although, I kind of need to play this so I can play the Swiftspear first. Okay, this thing's annoying, but ultimately not a big deal. Alright, let's go Swiftspear. Attack with everybody, see what they do. Alright, we'll just let the damage happen. I'm not dying next turn, probably. We'll play this post-combat and pump the claw. Forge, fine. We'll block the 1/1, take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is not lethal. And Monstrous Rage next turn might be lethal. Let's see, if I block here, this is 4, 7, 8. Monstrous Rage here means that we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So blocking here means that I actually probably lose to Monstrous Rage. So I'm just going to take it. This 4, 7, 8, 9. Monstrous Rage is only plus 4. 13. Alright, we'll take it. I think they're just dead to this Monstrous Rage if they... But if I block here and they Monstrous Rage to kill this, I don't have lethal anymore. Now, if they have Shock or something, then we're in a bad spot. But I think that that was just true no matter what. So we're at 2. We go Monstrous Rage on the Emberheart. We can attack, pump. And this should be lethal with the attack and the buff. Alright, so instead of Scorch... Oh, we can't even play the Scorching Shot. That's funny. Alright, so we'll just attack with everybody. And we'll buff this once. Last one. Nice. We're on the draw. I don't think we can keep this one. Although, If we draw the land, man, we're kind of cracked. Let's just try it. The science. I need to know if I need to be playing 24 lands, 23 lands or something. All right, we just draw it every time, though. We're going to lead with Hired Claw because it's just very difficult to block, and it allows us to go Gecko into Challenger next turn, which I like. Ah, they have a Torch the Tower. Bummer. So some sort of Jesky deck. We'll go for Emberheart Challenger and attack. We could go for Swissbeer Plot Demonic Ruckus. Maybe that's better. Are they really going to counter this? The deuce. So it's a 3/2 for black and red. It has ward, pay 2 life. Other creatures you control enter with an additional 1/1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. When you cast a lizard spell, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. That card seems great. And I think that that's definitely something that I'll be keeping an eye on. All right, let's go Swissbeer, see what they do. And I'll plot Demonic Ruckus post-combat probably. If they go for burn-based removal on the Challenger where we can save it with Monstrous Rage, we will. 3 steps ahead. Okay. All right, so let's go for Monstrous Rage on this, looking for a land. Found the land. Nice. And now we'll just go ahead and plot the Ruckus. Swing for 6. Like, we're not even playing Slickshot Show Off because I didn't have enough things that procced it, right? So I want my creatures to be, like, a little bit lower to the ground and standing on their own. And the way that I've built it, it feels pretty good. But again, I don't think that this is, like, the best build or anything. Main phase, crack the clue. They're scared. All right, so let's target this so we get a free trigger. Top card Shock. And with the 3 shocks, this should be lethal. I'm going to go for it and see if they have... I feel like they would have killed this while I was tapped out if they had it. And now that this was resolved, I really just don't even care if they're tapped out. I wonder if they're going to try to counter this unless I pay 3. Destroy Evil. Or Toughness or greater. It's a bummer. Alright, so we'll go Shock Your Face, Gecko, and I'm going to loot away this dragon. Next turn we can go Challenger plus a couple shocks. Ruckus so far has looked not very good. And I'm sad about that. This tapped, okay. Okay, so they gained 4 life. Is that all? I'm gonna just go ahead and get in damage while I can. Since it gets Menace, this can't block it. This card is terrifying. At its worst, it's a 4-cost 4/5 gain 4. That's like the worst it could possibly be in that spot, and it's still insane. Anchorage is kind of annoying. Alright, I'm going to play Attack with Gecko. Once they animate the Anchorage, I'm going to shock it twice, or attempt to. And then post-combat play this Emberheart. And I know that this is what they're trying to do. But mostly I just want to make sure that my threat is hard to block. If this is a hard counter... Oh, man. Alright, well, they do trade the No More Lies for it, so my creature's going to die, but I do get to kill the Anchorage. Maybe I should just let Anchorage trade. and then try to do prowl stuff with this. But this 4/5 body is so enormous. Love watching Brew New decks. Oh, thanks, Simbred. Yeah, I think that a more lizardy theme could be good, and splashing another color will certainly help give me more lizards. But I need to see if the cards are themselves are good yet. All right, so 3 steps ahead means that I'm basically dead. I don't really want to keep playing, but I will. Maybe I should shock this. Just to look at the top card. I've already played a land, which is a bummer, but this does give me the ability to cycle this thing. And it doesn't die. I wish I had kept that dragon earlier. But I was trying to burn them out. So they can copy this. Is that how this works? But I don't know why they're doing it now. They did draw 2, discard 2, instead of just untapping. They could have just untapped, chat. And then they could go counter your thing, copy this, gain 4. That's so much better. I can't win. I think with Lightning Helix, Beza probably just can't win, if I'm being honest. Lynx for sure. We for sure. Shocks out. Very few targets that matter. I like Monstrous Rage for just damage output. All the other stuff seems kind of bad. I need like Urbrass Forge or something. I think I cut it last second. Embar making a damn good case for being in Boros Heroic. I agree. I think it's just a great card. You know, I think that we're doing like basically the weakest possible build for it in standard with Monstrous Rage only or whatever, and it still looks great. All right, so we got a nice little turn 1/2. I think I'll just card cast Ruckus on 2 to make sure that if they kill this, I get to draw a card. And the Monstrous Rages can be way better later on. Earlier with that Destroy Evil with the Ruckus on the stack was such a bummer. Now, if they just Lightning Helix this, embarrassing. Lightning Helix is such a fuck you, man. Card's brutal. Alright, so let's go Swiss Spear. I'm going to attack and then play Gecko Ruckus. We got to do it this way so we get the mana off the Gecko. But, I mean, everything so far has been feeling good. You know, it's more, at some point it's going to become about something else, about figuring out the best way to attack specific decks or whatever. But right now we're just seeing, like, if some of the cards are good. And the answer to that is absolutely. Some of the cards are fire. You reveal Brotherhood's End. Well, Monstrous Rage should protect from that. I'm going to go ahead and Monstrous Rage. It's just too much damage to leave on the table, and this also protects it from Brotherhood's End. And if they do cast a Sweeper, I have Byway Barter to follow up. They go to 6 if they have like a 4-cost Wrath. Is Wandering Emperor still legal, chat? I honestly don't even know. Bonus deck is pretty cool, though. Get Lost? Sure. They'll draw a card and they lose a life? Oh, sorry, this one's Trample. That's not the same one. That's my apologies. Alright, so I'm going to go for Map Token. We're going to try to get this above Brotherhood's End. Real card in the graveyard. Do I want to put the claw into the graveyard? No. We'll play something that if they do cast a sweeper, they're just dead to the links. Sorry, if they played the Brotherhood's End, they only kill this. I don't think I want Nahir's Warcrafting, but something like that, like a kill spell that draws a card, is not bad against like the Offspring guy that Aggro boluses. But I think just costing 3 is a little too much. Yeah, look. There's so many pillars that rotated, and I don't even remember exactly which sets that those pillars were in. Especially Planeswalkers. I mean, the Wandering Emperor was in Neon Dynasty, but there was a million Emperor clones. Wow, is this? Did my hand change at all, chat? Did my hand change a single card when I clicked Mulligan? Can anybody? Did anybody see a single card change? Not great though. I want to put back a land. I could put back a terror, but if I just draw a land, I'm really sad if I put back a terror. I like that I can just attack and pump the hired claw. I think that's cool. I also love that it's a hired claw, and so it's a mercenary. Bummer. Lightning Helix is a bummer. A braid, a bit worse. A bit worse. Alright, well, it's time to just dragging it up, I guess. You always eventually draw a land? Yeah. I don't know if that's true, but you will draw a land sometimes. Alright, Tide Shaper is fine. That's just like definitely not a card that should be in their deck in this matchup. I have so few hits for the trigger. I don't even think that there's that many like wizard payoffs or merfolk payoffs, so we'll see. Alright, so they're gonna Beza, they gain 4 life. I think this card's gonna cause me nightmares. Alright, so I'm hoping I draw a land so I can just play 2 dragons. And then if they wrath me, I'll just play another dragon. Guy with Abs, was it the exact same hand? No. It was like 4 or 5 of the same, but no land still. Alright, let's see if they have an answer to Stingerback Terrors. I'm assuming at least one of them's dying, but the fact that they didn't kill any in attack means that they only have answer to 1. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and play a Stingerback Terror. That way, if they have a counterspell, that's great. If not, maybe they don't have a Wrath, and they probably have an answer to 1. But we're on a mold of 5, and we're kind of all in on these, so whatever. YOLO. Deal you 17. Hope you don't have a Wrath. No Sunfall, one-time dealer. Oh my god, I won? Oh, Stinger back terror, chat. Stinger back. We're back. All right, this hand looks pretty good. I think that we're going to put back the Ruckus, but I don't actually know. We are on the play, which is nice. All right, maybe it's just the Swiss Beard. Yeah, I mean, Act 1 is the best act, right? By a lot. And I think most people restart the game because they like playing new characters, and they know that early game, new character, and Act 1 are all the best. And so people just replay Act 1 all the time. Act 2 is like super murky, like it's the thing where you have to just like, all right, let's attack for 1, and if they won't block, but we'll deal 1, then we'll post combat Gecko plus Ruckus probably. Although maybe we go, whoa. Whoa. Alright, so maybe we hold the ruckus for when we have the barter going, and we'll just pump the claw. It's just so yeah, it's like yeah, like once you get to the last area of Act 3, it's like you know where to go to finish the game, but every single building has a side quest. And that's not inherently bad, but that's just way worse than always having something that's pressing. At that point, nothing is pressing anymore. All right, let's go attack, and then we'll play Byway Barterer. I haven't used this to give haste yet, I don't think. I can only activate a sorcery, so I need to be cognizant of doing that late game just to give a buff. I think I probably missed a couple buffs doing that. Evangelist, pretty scary, but we're way ahead on life, and they can't attack this turn either. They're likely going to activate Warden again. All right, so it's a 3/4 flyer. So Ruckus here. Double blocks don't work, and if we draw land, we can also continue. So I think it's actually this. And I will trade this for Warden. But they'll probably just take 4. And that's what I want them to do. Now we can Ruckus, and maybe we can find a kill next turn. There's no way I'm taking 20 this turn, even with Immodanes. And especially with like a block or 2 in there. But it's going to be hard to do the last few points, so I have to be cheeky. And I think that was a spot where I can be cheeky. Because making this a 4 means they can't block profitably with the double block. But if I'm them, I think I still double block and trade this for this because of its potential for doing really dirty stuff over the next few turns. Real talk, I'm not sure that this card should even be in the deck. It's been a bit worse than I thought it would be, but mostly because it doesn't work with plot. As long as I don't have to teach you how to play the game, Nick, I'm cool with that. I assume me and Scooter are gonna just be very strong, very into it. Did it twice already? Alright, so Yoshin plus Gleeful. Okay, are they gonna bring back Yoshin and attack with everybody? No, they're just pumping. Now it has Vigis. It's gonna be very difficult to punch through. It's gonna require Monstrous Rage. They should have attacked with this. This is Vigilance. I don't think I should use the Hired Claw to with haste here. I think what I should do is Ruckus on something that's going to be hard for them to block. So this is already Menace. I think maybe we can put it on the Gecko or the Swiftspear and like really cause some issues for them. All right, so if we play Ruckus here, this is a 3/4. We can make it a 4/5. I guess at that point we're just like they're double blocking, but they're taking so much damage from this other stuff that maybe it's worth, and maybe it's big enough that I don't have to do that. All right, let's put on the Gecko. I think the Gecko's ability of being able to loot later might be worth. Um, I should have used this for the Sphere probably, but now I can't threaten double Monstrous Rage. But I can threaten buff Hired Claw plus Monstrous Rage. Let's talk with everybody, see what they do. There's probably a lethal line for them next turn, but I'm trying to put them in a spot where maybe Hired Claw ping gets them, or like a Shock off the top or Monstrous Rage off the top can steal it. Especially with the card I get to draw. The Warden's going to survive. The Claw I'm definitely going to buff. And then they can double block this. Okay, they just take 3. Alright, so we'll kill the 1/1. Is going to get buffed. We'll just let this die. We'll draw a card. They go to 5. We clear a lot of the board and dealt them 4 damage. Let's buff this. Maybe I should have played Hired Claw and then buffed that one. Did I play land? I did. Okay. Now if I draw a dragon, I can go land dragon and expend, which would be nice. But I can also just attack with everybody and then buff a bunch. What's 5? Make 2 2/2s. They definitely should be pressuring me with this. Okay, so they just play this face up. I think probably a mistake, but I don't know how many they're supposed to convoke. Alright, so they saw the attack this time. Maybe attacking is wrong. Maybe I should just Ruckus. Maybe I should hold. Alright, we're going to wait for a better spot. I'm just going to say go. I shouldn't have played the land probably, but with byway barter, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think casting it this turn could be tough. And next turn I might draw something that makes me want to Rockface Village it or something. Maybe I should sacrifice this to deal 1 to them so that I can buff this. This is fine. They're probably going to bounce Evangelist and replay to get an extra token. They could bounce the Knight Errant and then convoke it. And then, I don't know. I feel like they should have convoked last turn for 4 and then use what they drew off the top to block. Because at this point, I mean, they're basically all in on Warden, but that's not a bad place to be. I'm hoping to just draw Monstrous Rage, and I think Monstrous Rage will just kill them from a bunch of spots. Like, it makes it so the blocking is just, like, not a thing. We have to basically shove this turn. So let's go Ruckus on maybe this Swift Spear, just to throw them off. And I'm going to attack with everybody, deal them some damage, and then hope that the... I guess this is just still bad. I guess I have to draw something off the byway barterer, so maybe I can't attack with barterer. Am I dead if they attack with everything? See, this is 5 in there, that's 7. I have 4 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, so this is 7 flying. I'm at 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4. At 3. Block here, take 2, 4. Okay, so I am dead. Let's just swing. Opponent played really defensively, and ultimately, I think that did win them the game. They did leak a few points of damage with missed attack with Warden. I think they could have invoked some amount with Knight on the turn where they played it, so that they could cast a creature off the top of the deck. And I don't think that they were dead if they did that in a lot of different scenarios. I guess if we get to kill the Sanguine Evangelists, I don't know. I need the Swiftspear to die. Okay, so the real question is, if I put a counter on this, am I surviving or... Okay, so chump here, double block here. All right, so we have to do this. And now... Okay, now if I buff this, am I dead? So if I buff this to kill this, this dies, this survives, this dies. So they're left with 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I think I'm dead if I don't, or if I... So I think I just let this happen. Hope I draw Dragon, and then I draw into Shock. I think Dragon into Shock is the way out. All right, GG. All right, we'll go Lithomantic, or no, yeah, we want Lithomantic and Hazard. And I think this is another matchup where Ruckus is bad. I mean, maybe Ruckus is just always bad. I like Coyote for giving the Terror flying, or haste, but they have flying blockers, so I think it's just not very good. We'll maybe do like one Nahiri Warcrafting, kill a big thing. MV Monda, thanks for the Prime sub. Welcome. Appreciate you. Alright. I don't think I want Scorching Shot. I don't really even want Nahiri's Warcrafting, but I don't... Maybe we should just keep a Coyote. Maybe the right number of Demonic Ruckus is like 1 or 2. We'll try this. Play first. Maybe we should try to cheese them with, which calls it? Maybe we should try to cheese them with the Lynx. Seems like they had a ton of non-basics. Which I think is just fairly common for most decks in the format. So maybe even Stingerback Terror should just be Lynx. Although I've liked the Stingerback Terror. The plot so far has been nice. This hand's quite good. We get to go Eternal and Claw. On turn 2, we get to go Swiftspear and Shock their 1-drop. Drawing 6 cards. Nice. If we draw the land, we get to curve naturally into Stingerback, and it's going to be very difficult for them to kill it as well. And I already have these like early drops that are just pummeling them. I think that the Raccoon means that we need to build our deck differently. The Byway Barterer. I do think Byway Barterer is a cool card, but I don't think that it's good enough in this build. And we need to work on that specifically. Alright, I kind of want to try to cheese them. I don't know if that's better. I think it's better to wait for the Gleeful, even though we miss on damage. Because of the ability for it to just unearth. We miss on a damage, though. I will probably kill the COT, and if I draw land, I'll go Emberheart plus hold it up. So this is probably Resolute Reinforcements. That's fine. We'll take the 1. And then, if I'm hoping we draw a land. Okay, it's not Resolute. What is it? Gleeful. In response, I'll shock it, and you lose. And that's why we waited, chat. We didn't want them to be able to do that. Land is excellent. Oh, they just conceded. Interesting. I mean, my sequence that turn was not going to be very good. But I guess they just didn't really care. I like Lithomantic Barrage for killing the 1-drop and the 5-drop. I like Hazard for the cleaning up the tokens. I think the Warcrafting is bad. I think I will Coyote. 1 Coyote for the surprise. Maybe it's a Lynx, though. Let's just Lynx. It might just, like, kill them at some point. Just 4 mana, dome me for 5 or whatever on a stalled board. I hope that comes up, and I hope it's great. Alright, no 1-drop, but we do have the Dragon. I'm going to keep because I think the Dragon is just going to be the breaker for the matchup. It's not a mirror breaker, it's just a board breaker. Mm-hmm. Alright, Hazard looks pretty embarrassing against Warden. But hopefully it'll do some stuff against their tokens later. Without Venerated Luxodon, the 1 damage to everything is much stronger in this format than it is in older formats. They didn't play anything there. So Emberheart, attack for 2. Next turn we can go attack, they won't block, then we'll go Gecko into Plot. Something like that. Maybe we can go Swiftspear plus Hazard or something. Alright, they can pump here, but they can't play Venerated, which I like. They did not attack. That's very strange to me. Alright, I can Hazard to kill most of the stuff. The problem is they get a 1/1 flyer, and they can then double block this. Alright, so I guess instead of plotting this, I'm just going to cast the next turn. So let's go Swiftspear. Go Hazard. And then we'll attack with both creatures. And the 2 damage on the Warden, or the 1 damage on the Warden means it's going to die to either of my things. This also puts them in a spot where they're a little low on life. They might have some incentive to chump block. I doubt it, though. They can double block this, and I'll kill both. 2, 3. Perfect. Alright, this is also going to kill just the Warden. I think that's fine. And I am extremely fine with that trade. Now, if they go land plus Knight Errant will be a pretty big blocker, but Stingerback flies over it, which is nice. Alright, let's see what they reveal. They missed. That's insane for me. Alright, we'll just cast this. No attacks, your go. Stingerback getting bricked by bat tokens is a bummer. Is there any universe where I'll block Knight Errant? Probably not. Maybe it's worth, though, just considering what's happening. Okay, so they're planning on just jumping with the bat. That's fine. We'll send with both and go post-combat Gecko. I need to figure out if I'm dead to an attack next turn. I don't think so, but I might be dead to an Imidanes plus attack. And I did keep on top. Oh, it tramples. That's so insane. I didn't even know that it trampled. I will go ahead and discard this mountain. Why did they concede? I guess the top card was bad. Okay, so we went 4-1. I'll take it. Stingback Terror having trample means that we fly over all of those little bats, which is incredible. So what I want to say is that I think Byway Barter probably has to go. We can replace that with something like Lightning Strike, maybe another creature on the lower end. But Stingback Terror was excellent. Maybe we want more Cunning Coyote, so we can go plot Coyote early and then save it for the Stingerback Terror, or just hold Coyote in hand for the turns where we are going to play Stingerback off of plot. Against various control decks, that just gives us a nice like post Wrath kill as well, which I think is really sick. Demonic Ruckus was unsuccessful, but I'm not sure exactly why. I think maybe I need more 1-drops. If I have more 1-drops, I'm able to go turn 1 1-drop, turn 2 1-drop, and plot. And if I am able to do that, I think that's where Demonic Ruckus is really going to shine. Alternatively, if you don't have a lot of 1-drops, but you do have a lot of 2-drops, you have Ruckus as a fake 1-drop that you can put into plot and then cast it on your Emberheart Challenger or something similar. But we just had a 1-drop a lot, and we didn't have Ruckus on 1 as our only thing a lot. Torch the Tower in some number might be worthwhile just to have a few more pieces of interaction. It works nicely with the roll on Monstrous Rage and with Demonic Ruckus. But I think that we just need to play something instead of Byway Barterer. It's not that it's a bad card. It's that it's somewhat difficult to utilize successfully. And I think that once we establish how we want to build our decks, it'll be a bit better. Yo, Properly Fish, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Before we get too much deeper into it, I want to say thank you to today's sponsors. Apex Gaming is a game store out of Caldwell, Ohio. They run a tournament series, and Ross Merrim and myself do commentary for that tournament series. We will be having 2 big open events on August 16th weekend, and the events are going to be a Team Modern Open, and then we're going to have a Modern Open on Sunday. And so Team Modern is 3 players. You can play whatever 75 you want, and there's no restrictions other than the banner restricted list for Modern. And then on Sunday, we're going to be doing the solo 5K. We're also sponsored by Moxfield. Moxfield's a deck building website, moxfield.com. You can use that to share deck lists with your friends. We use it for our deck list for the channel. If you're interested in checking out the deck list we played today, exclamation deck or deck list in chat if you're watching it live, or you can check the video link description. Video link in the description. Or the link in the video description? One of those words. Lastly, we're sponsored by Paradise Games and Gifts, formerly Games and Comics Paradise out of Fairfax, Virginia. Paradise Games and Gifts is a wonderful local game store specializing in trading card games. You can check out their website, gcpairodice.com. That's gcpairodice.com to get you some singles. And they'll be changing the website at some point in the near future to match the Paradise Games and Gifts name change. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Our sideboard is something that I think could use a lot of work. Nahiri's Warcrafting and Scorching Shot I think is too much, so we'll probably just cut Warcrafting. Squee felt unnecessary and expensive, so I want to look for maybe like Urbrass Forge or something in that spot might be a bit better. We did have Squee operating pretty well in one of our matchups, but I don't exactly remember how good it was. I feel like it's very Flage-esque in terms of allowing you to use your mana, but it's extremely low impact in what it does. It doesn't threaten to end the game very quickly, even when it's unchecked. It's just one of those cards that looks a lot better than it is, especially when the average card quality just continuously increases over time. Flamecash Gecko, home run. Love that card. Emberheart Challenger, excellent card. Hired Claw, excellent card. Byway Barterer, I'm on the fence on. We are probably going to experiment with some like Rakdos Lizards next. That's somewhere I want to go. Somewhere where I'd like to go. Sunspine Link's main deck with a lot of burn might be okay. There's the Gift Searing Blaze, whose name I forget, that could be good, and Lightning Strike. And if we play those cards, something like Sunspine Link Sun Spine Links could be a nice top end for finishing off your opponents. I played a lot of Anathemancer back in the day. Anathemancer was a small body that did something very similar to Sunspine Links in that it dealt damage to your opponent for each non-basic they controlled. And in its standard format, it was unparalleled in strength. There were roughly 9 out of 10 matchups where it was a 10 out of 10, and then there was one matchup where it was like a dud. And I think Sunspine Links being a 4-drop instead of a 3-drop means that it's going to be slightly harder to utilize, but it's a much more aggressively costed body in terms of the sizing. But a 4-cost 5/4 with a couple statics is not that big of a deal. And so you have to look at it like, is it worth to spend 4 mana to deal my opponent some damage and trade a card? And I don't know that it is. Stingerback Terror has evasion, it's larger, and it's cheaper. And so Stingerback Terror for me just gets the nod over it. With that said, I don't know that, we played the hardest suite of opponents and matchups, but that's because we're just all trying to figure it out at the same time. And I think when we do all figure it out, I think we're going to see that something like Stingerback Terror is probably not nearly as good as we think because it just dies to go for a throw, Doomblade style effects. Whereas Lynx deals significant damage while doing the same thing, but it just costs more mana. So now we need to just look at cheaper cards, I think. That's it for me today, chat. Thanks for hanging. Standard's fun. I'm going to keep playing some Standard until they ban Nadu or do something else on the August ban and restricted announcement. If you're a fan of Standard, make sure to check out the channel. Come back and check out how Bloomburrow is affecting things. Bloomburrow is an awesome set. I've been really enjoying playing games in Bloomburrow Standard, and I've been enjoying learning the cards. There's a lot of really cool mechanics like Expend, Valiant, a number of other things like Landfall came back, and I'm just really excited to play some Standard. Even though there's not a whole lot of big tournaments coming up, we may just be playing some more Standard on the channel in general because it's one of the 3 RCQ formats and because it's relatively unexplored. And that's always fun to dive into new unexplored formats. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.